Hi, everybody. Happy hump day. Happy therapy day. Thanks so much for joining me today. So I want to first say thanks so much for the support of the channel. I was just going over some of my stuff before I came on, and it's such a bummer. Three more of my YouTubes just got demonetized, and it seems like it's the lives lately. So I'm pretty sure that our sessions here are getting reported. So I want you all to know that. But we're not going to give up. And really, one of the reasons I called today's therapy session commitment is because I have a commitment to this, and I'm not going to let these people ruin it. So I just want you to know that, it does bum me out to watch the demonetization of my video of my channel happen, but it just also says something to me. And what it says to me is that we're doing the right thing. We're doing the right thing. So it's a lot of work. All of us showing up, doing the work, being here, creating this space. It takes a lot of us to show up every week and all of that. But I think one of the best things out of it, the monetization of the channel helps me, but it's not the end all be all. I just want you all to know that. Okay. It's not the end all be all. And it's not going to stop me from showing up, and it's not going to stop me from creating this channel, and it's not going to stop me from being committed to what I am committed to here. So before I get more in depth with that, I want to say thank you all so much. And I'm going to start the shout outs here. So if you're new to the channel, I love to do shout outs. I love to show you that we've created a worldwide community of people, and it just seems to be getting bigger and better. And as I scroll up here, whatever the first one I get Ian. Hey, Ian, buddy, how you doing? So Nova Scotia's in the house. Massachusetts, did I say that right? Is in the house. Vegas is in the house. Right on. Belgium is in the house. New Jersey's in the house. Dallas is in the house. Sweden, Denmark, Indiana, here we go. Plymouth is in the house. Texas is in the house. And keep them coming, you guys, because we're going to show the world that we are not going to back down. Indiana's in the house. Hey, Al, how you doing, buddy? Netherlands is in the house. Minnesota's in the house, Utah's in the house, Texas, Massachusetts, Bellingham, Washington's in the house. We got Israel in the house. We got Idaho in the house, South Carolina, Virginia, Finland, Georgia, Arizona, Illinois, Florida, Sweden, Russia. I told you guys, Simi Valley, Notre Dame, Indiana, right on. Pittsburgh, we got Pittsburgh in the house, Gettysburg, New York, Minnesota, Monrovia, right on. My sister lives in Monrovia, Texas, South Carolina, Wales is in the house. We got Portland, Oregon, Wisconsin, Netherlands, Vegas, North Carolina, Seattle, Missouri. I love you guys so much. New Hampshire, that's why we're never going to stop doing this. Maine, Greater New York, Maryland, SoCal, woohoo. We got New Jersey's in the house. So, if you're new to the channel, thank you guys for coming and checking in with all of us here. We have a lot of, as far as I'm concerned, we have a lot of fun. We got Germany, Arizona, and I think what's happening is that we must be doing something. It's why my channel keeps getting. We got Altadena in the house. Oh, I hope let's send prayers to Altadena. They a lot of yucky stuff happened in the fires. So I just feel like there's a reason they're attacking the channel, and there's a reason people are trying to get my channel demonetized, and that's because they think it's going to shut me up. And I'm not, and it's why I decided to call today's therapy session commitment, because a commitment, I'm if you don't know this about me, I am a loyal friend. Okay. I am a loyal friend. And that is something that I've always been. I've always just been this guy that is a pit bull for you. If you're good to me, I will be good to you. And you have all been so good to me. You have all been helping me build this space and get my voice more prominently out there. And as you know, I cannot do it without you. So my commitment is to you. My commitment is to this channel, and my commitment, most 100%, without any other thing in my way, is the kids. Okay. The kids. as you know, none of us here really care what adults do, though some of them are doing some crazy stuff. The majority of us here, we're super chill with people doing their thing. What we're not super cool with is children being put into a space that they should never be put into. And as you all know, I'm a transsexual. I'm a female who lives as a man, blah, blah, blah. Boring conversation. We don't want to get into that. But what we want to get into is I have every right to say the things I say. I see things from a different what Lisa said. Oh, and also please say hi to our mods who have really stepped up. And Anne is a mod and Lisa is a mod. Okay. So if you guys have any problems, reach out to Anne and Lisa. They've been very dedicated to this channel. And I think it's really gonna bring the quality of our chats on Wednesday bigger. Okay, so I think all of you just supporting me, and thank you, Nick. Totally appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much. So here's what I want to tell you. Two things I want to tell you before I get into some really great stuff that I downloaded today. So sit back, grab your coffee, whatever you're drinking. Oh, hey, Jen. Thank you, friend. That means a lot to me. Thank you, friend. Hey, Buck, to go against YouTube's demonetization of your channel. I love you more. Yeah, ain't going to stop me because you guys all support me. And, that's why I say I can't do it without you. So all the little gifts, even if you can't give me, a monetary gift, just showing up to the channel is what means a lot to me. And the numbers, my subscriber numbers are growing. And I think that's freaking people out because as the subscribers grow, it means that my voice is that much more powerful. So everything helps. No matter if you give me those monetary gifts that you all throw at me, which is so great, but also just showing up means a lot, right? So happy to have Wednesdays off again. Hey, Pepper, thank you. I can join in again. Hello to you and everyone. Hello, friend. Lots of love and support to you. Thank you. So here's what I want to say today. I'm all over the place because I just have had a crazy week, and I'll tell you first. Let's see, what should I tell you first? I have like 3 things I wrote down here that I don't want to forget because my brain just goes and goes, right? So I forget sometimes what exactly I want to tell you. But here's what I'm going to start off with. Last night. So last night I was invited to go see a screening of this documentary. It's called Rebel Hearts. Have any of you seen this documentary called Rebel Hearts? And if you haven't, see it because it's actually really profound and very powerful. And so just in a nutshell, I'll tell you, and why today I also called commitment and why I got a lot of knowledge out of that film last night. So basically, Rebel Hearts in a nutshell is about here in Los Angeles, like in the 50s and 60s, there is a Catholic school here called Immaculate Heart, and it's a Catholic school run by nuns, and it was a high school and a university. And in the 50s and 60s, the nuns sort of started pushing it back against the sort of structure of the Catholic Church, meaning that the nuns didn't want to wear habits anymore. Okay, the nuns didn't want to dress. The nuns wanted to start dressing like women. Plus, they were just regular women, right? Even though they were still considered themselves nuns or sisters. But what happened was the Catholic Church is really hardcore about this. So these nuns really protested this, and they really decided that they wanted to create, go with the sign of the times. We want to, and they were teachers, and they're not being taught how to teach, or they're being thrown in these teaching positions, and they just started to rebel against the Catholic Church not to not give their service to God, but to say that we need to start moving up with the sign of the times, and we need to be able to have our own lives in some way. It's a brilliant documentary. It's called Rebel Hearts. 2 of the nuns basically it was about women's rights. It really was, because the head of the church, being the man, told them they couldn't do this. It just became a nightmare for them. They ended up starting their own community, but there were these very powerful women. And as you know, I am all about women's rights. It is literally part of my platform. I will never turn my back on women. And so these women really had to leave the church. Like out of 400 of the sisters, 350 of them left the church and started their own community here in Los Angeles and just do all the great stuff that they do. So last night at the film screening, 2 of the sisters were there, and I really got to hear some really profound things. And this is the one thing I wanted to share with you. The one thing I wanted to share with you was this. Oh, hey, Judith, thanks for being a new member. Thank you. Devotion. So, devotion is always kind of connected to religion, is it not? When you hear devotion, right? When you hear devotion, thank you everybody for the nice comments. Don't you think of religion? Like devotion just to me sort of comes to religion. But what is devotion? And so one of the questions, hey, practical medium, hi, Buck. I personally knew a nun who dressed like a regular woman and not just a uniform back. I'm like, yeah. And so that's what they fought for. They fought for not having to wear the uniforms anymore and just be nuns. And why can't they? So they talked about devotion, and this is one of the most profound things I heard from them last night. They said your devotion should not be to an institution. Okay, it should be to a cause. So one of the nuns last night said, my devotion is not to the institution of the Catholic Church. My devotion is to God. And I was like, wow, that's so powerful. That is so powerful because it's the truth. So, of course, I'm always putting my thought processes on this whole LGBT pee poo 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 mess, specifically about the trans community. And I feel like in the trans community, there is some weird devotion to the ideology, to the institution of trans, right? I mean, it's become an institution, right? So, in my opinion, so I was just like, wow, this is so powerful because for me, I do not feel a devotion to the trans community. I do not feel a devotion to, I feel a devotion to universe or God or my higher power or whatever you all want to call it. It's all good. I'm super chill with all of that. I'm super chill with what religion you practice, all of it. You know, my devotion is to the higher power. My devotion is not to me. My devotion is to the cause of truth. And not my truth, not your truth, not their truth, not the truth. And the truth still remains that transsexualism is a disorder. Transsexualism is a very, very small space. It is also a space of commitment that no child could ever make. No child could ever make a commitment. None. I just will never believe that a child could make the commitment. Hey, Jim's girl, thank you, Buck. You're the bomb diggity. How can we campaign against YouTube? We'll figure it out. I think if we all sort of talk about it, I think it will. I'm pushing back on them. But thank you for saying that. There is only one truth, and my devotion is not to trans. That's an ideology, and that becomes an institution. That's an institution. So those nuns who decided to leave the Immaculate Heart Church here in Los Angeles in the 60s and 70s, they also said, my devotion is not to, I don't know what they're called. What's the highest priest there or whatever, or even the Institute of Catholicism, right? The whole thing there. They said, my devotion is not to that. My devotion is to God. And I was like, dang, that is so I just really felt very empowered by it. And I really wanted to share that with you. And I wanted to share that why I won't stop, because I do have a devotion and I do have a commitment to these young people who I believe are only hearing one side and are not hearing all sides of the story. And they try to keep me away from being able to be heard by me. It's why they call me, the bishop or the cardinal. They were, wow, you should really see the documentary. I'll repeat it again. The documentary's name is Rebel Hearts. It's great. There's a trailer on YouTube. Watch it. It's just a really powerful film. So I think that's why the trans community tries to keep me away from the younger people hearing me, and because they don't want them to have or see anything else. Pepper says, I believe in God. I don't subscribe to religion. That's right. Yeah. I'm not really a religious person. I live in a Jewish household, but my partner is Jewish and we raise our son in a Jewish space, but it's all, I believe in all kinds of stuff, really. I very, very much do. Thanks for joining me, Italy. I do appreciate that. Or us. We call this Hey Voices with Vicky. Courtney says, hi, Courtney, afternoon, friend. We'll be able to be here the next 3 weeks. Awesome. I almost did that. Why did I do that? Because I do that. All right, that just reminds me of something. I almost put the middle finger up, and I'm going to tell you why. Oh, you broke your rib? Oh, so I'm bed. Oh, I'm so sorry, bedbound. I can use more entertainment. That was just some entertainment for you. Wait, I got to tell you why. This week has been insane for me, everybody. Insane. Oh, my God. So should I tell you why it's been insane? My God. The last couple of days have just been so insane. I can't even believe it. Staying on the topic of kids. Oh, I know the pain is horrible. I'm sorry. Try not to get sucked into painkillers. Okay, I'm spilling the tea, kids. Here it comes. So this week, Monday, we have a farmer's market near my house, and we all go. My wife and I, we go there sometimes. We get all kinds of great stuff, and it's this cute little farmer's market at this park down the street from my house. And one of my friends was over there getting stuff, and then I get a text, and they're like, "Buck, you got to go run over to the farmer's market now." And I'm like, "Why?" And they're like, "There is a table selling children transition." I go, "What?" No, they're doing a what do you call it? A petition for puberty blockers. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I'm like, no. So what do? I put on my trampa hat. I put my sweats on, and I just basically run over there. I get over there, and what do I go outside the farmer's market, and what is in the farmer's market? What's there? An ACLU table. Who's standing at that table? A big, tall trans woman, pretty much dressed like a porn star with a tiny little skirt. Now, I don't have the, oh, hey, Judith. Wow. Thank you, Judith. That's so sweet of you. That is so sweet of you. Thank you, friend. That really means a lot. And supporting our mission to stop transing minors. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Judith. That really, 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 my heart is like pounding right now. That really, thank you. Really, honestly, Judith, thank you. Because wait till you hear the rest of this story. Wait till you hear this. So who's standing there? Someone said, thank you, Judith. Really, seriously, from the bottom of my heart. So anyway, I run over there. So if you want to see the video, I didn't want to play it here today because we got too much to talk about. But anyway, I go over there. There's a big, tall trans person, a man to woman, and they're standing there in a little teeny skirt and a little teeny halter top, and like literally looking like a anime like girl. And I mean, this is an adult dressed like this selling children transitions. So I'm like, what's happening? So okay. You guys, you just got to go watch it after this is on my Instagram. And I just couldn't help it. I just went over there. I said, excuse me, what's happening here? And she goes, oh, it's for trans rights. I go, what are trans rights? And then she's like, looked at me like she didn't understand my question, right? Hey, Sammy, thank you. How much of pushing kids to transition do you think is well-meaning? I'll tell you right now. I tend to think most of them mean well, but I'll show you right now. They do not mean well. No, they do not. They're being indoctrinated, honestly, seriously. And I'm going to show you. Pepper, if you really look at it, Christianity, Judaism, Islam are all the same. They are. They are. I don't understand. That's a whole other conversation that people never want to have. Anyway, there I am. Okay. And I go and I ask her, what are you doing here? With, what? She's like, oh, it's for trans rights. I go, what trans rights? I go, what do you mean trans rights? And I just started asking her, and she was like, what do you mean trans rights? I go, but what do you mean by trans rights? And she goes to me, well, like Trump is signing all these executive orders and we're losing rights. I go, but what rights don't trans people have? I go, what rights don't trans people have? And her face, the trans woman's face dropped, and she looked at me like, what? What do you mean? They're stopping children from transitioning. They're stopping people from going to the military. They're stopping sports. And I go, do you know who? I actually said this, you guys. I go, do you know who I am? And she goes, no. She goes, no. And I go, my name is Buck Angel. And then her face dropped and she's like, oh, I know who you are. I said, great. I said, so what are you talking about? None of what you're saying is true. And she goes, yes, it is. I go, no, it is not. I go, no, I'm a transsexual. I'm telling you right now, I have every right to be in this world just like everybody else. I don't feel like my rights are taken away. And then, you know, me and my spiel, I transitioned a million years ago, blah, blah. She was like, stunned. And I'm like, no, I really want you to tell me what you mean by rights. You don't represent me. She's like, I'm not representing you. I represent the transgender community. I go, no, you don't. You do not represent the transgender community. And I just started going off on her and I lost my temper on some level, you guys. I actually did. Hey, Lizzie girl. Thank you. I hate when people show up at the farmer's market and craft sales with an agenda and little to no actual crafts to sell. The fact that they were there pushing this bullshit, you guys, I was like, wait a minute. Nope. Anyway, I just kept going off on her. And she was, so what happened? What do you think happened? What do you think happened? I went off, Ella. I went off. I couldn't help myself. I actually went off. So next thing you know, what I said, and also the transitioning of children is not real. It is child abuse. And she was just like, no, it isn't. I go, yes, it is. And I can prove it to you right now. And I had my live Instagram on and she's like, stop filming me. I said, you're on public property and I'm a taxpayer and you are representing ACLU and I can film this all I want. Next thing you know, the dude from Farmers Market comes out. He's like, can you just stop? I go, no, I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping. I'm a transsexual taxpayer. I literally, I said, I'm a transsexual taxpayer and I can do this if I want. And then he knew that. I said, you can't kick me out of here. I'm literally on public property. Okay. And they're promoting children abuse. And then he's just like, can you then keep it down a little bit? I said, sure, I'll definitely try to keep it down. Then this other trans woman came out of nowhere with a mask on, right? She came out and sideswiped me. Hey, Jen, I'm not shaming S workers, but I'm shaming that one individual who looked like they just, no, me neither. You know, she looked ridiculous. You can't be selling stuff for the ACLU looking like a hooker. That's actually insane. Anyway, I didn't say any of that, but, you know, because I just was too focused on the kids. Hey, Sonny, thank you, friend. Buckwood. I did. I literally went tramp bear. I literally I lost it, you guys. So this lady comes out of nowhere, trans, I don't know what they were, and with a mask on. And I go, what do you want? Get out of my face. And then she goes, they go, blah, 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 blah. I didn't hear them. I said, take your mask off. I go, take your mask off. And then they're like, we're in a pandemic. I go, oh my God, we are not in a pandemic, you freak. And then I just turn back to the other one and I start questioning them. Thank you, friend. Thank you, Jay. I start questioning them, right? And then they're just the trans woman for ACLU. You can't stream this live to all your followers and da 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 da. And I go, want to see me? And I just did it. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all the. Thank you. Now, you guys, I know some of you might not have Instagram, but just go over there and watch it because it's kind of funny. And anyway, my point being is it was a draining. And then next thing you know, the sheriff shows up. The actual sheriff shows up, you guys. And I'm like, I look at the sheriff and the sheriff looks at me, says nothing to me. So I go back to that trans woman and I just start railing on her again, right? No, it wasn't Blossom. Blossom is black. This was a white trans woman. So, and I start railing on her again. I go, you're disgusting. And if you don't want to be railed on, don't work for the ACLU because I'm going to come back every week and I'm going to do this until you stop poisoning children with this nonsense. And then the sheriff was just standing there, didn't say anything to me. So I finally just got bored with the whole thing. I was just like, your people are idiots. And so I shut my camera off. I looked at the sheriff. I said, thank you, sir. And he looked at me and he said, thank you. The sheriff said thank you to me. And I walked away. And I put it on the internet. So there it is for all of you to watch it. And I'm going to tell you the majority, 90% of the comments are go Buck. Thank you, Buck. Thank you for, I'm just tired of these people pushing children into transitioning. Number one, lying about it. They have no facts for it. This person who was representing the ACLU had zero facts, none whatsoever, right? And I want you to all understand this. I just gave them their own medicine. They do this stuff all the time. They go to all of these places and they push on people, and they push until they can't talk, right? So it's their tactic. Their tactic is to just go, go, go. So I did the same tactic. I gave them their own medicine. I literally gave them, and I filmed it and I put it live on the internet, which is what they do. So I gave them all their own medicine. And I said, look, lady, I don't care if you decide you want to be a lady. I don't care what you do. You're an adult. Then she goes, I'm a VA and I don't get my medicine anymore. And I go, that's a lie. I know 5 veterans who are all transitioning who are getting their medicine. So you're lying, or something's wrong with your hospital. So you're spreading lies. And I kept telling her that you are spreading lies. And then I said, do you have facts about kids right now? She's like, I don't want to have this conversation anymore. I said, you keep trying to shut the conversation down because you don't have any facts. So don't stand out here with a table doing stuff like this unless you can actually have pushback from it. And then whatever. So my point to the whole thing was to expose the lies. To expose the lies of these people who are having people who walk by. So all these innocent, like, citizens are walking by this table that says ACLU, and then they put this little thing out there and they say, do you want to help save trans kids? They say stuff like that. Do you want to help save trans rights? And just the average normal person has no idea what that means. They don't have any clue what that means. But people here in LA tend to be a little bit liberal and nice, and they'll sign stuff, without even asking any questions about. So all that time I saw 5 people sign that petition. And I was like, this is actually insane, because people are signing things that can hurt kids. And I don't think they even understand what they're signing, right? Because they're signing it out of this compassion for trans kids, because these people are making it seem like trans kids are being hurt and trans kids exist and trans kids get the right there. So that's really one of the reasons today why I wanted to talk about commitment, and I wanted to talk about my commitment to a cause, which is the cause of saving children from being shoved into a space by adults, which, by the way, an adult can do whatever they want. Nobody here cares about what adults do. But when you start adding children to an equation, such as transitioning, and telling us that you have a trans kid, when that means that you decided you had a trans kid, the kid does not understand what they're talking about. It's, do you know how it frustrates me, you guys? It frustrates me because any parent, this is really one of the parts of parenting that I find to be very difficult for me sometimes. And that is, did you know that anybody can pretty much make a baby? Anybody, especially like heterosexual people, they can just make a baby. So you can make a baby and that baby comes out, and you as the parents, you have every right to raise your child how you see fit. I totally believe in that, right? But there's also some problems with that, because what if parents who are like these parents of trans kids, who I believe are on some level mental, and they have a lot of problems going on, and they're putting it on their children, or they want to be cool and hip, or there's a lot of levels of why anybody would actually say they have a trans kid. Money and fame. Yep. I know I saw some of you comment on my big mug. So did you see what can you see what my big mug says? Wait, here. You see that? Just so y'all know. One of my kids gave me this. So that's why I kind of got in a cranky mood this week, and I was a little bit upset for the last couple of days, and just feeling a little down because, I just feel so sad that these kids and people are pushing such a nasty, disgusting narrative using children. And thank you, Brooks. Thank you. All children should be allowed to go through a natural transition from child to adult without interference. Thank you. I mean, I'm not asking for much, you guys, and neither are you. How dare we interfere with a child's growth, period? How dare we tell? So, how are kids going to their parents and saying they're trans? How does a kid go to a parent, and where is that kid getting that information that they're trans? And what you're right, the Jazz Jenny thing is actually dangerous. So how does a kid go to a parent and say, I'm trans? And I think I have a lot of parents in this room today. If you're a parent, wouldn't that kind of make you feel a little bit weird? Wouldn't that put you in a space of like, wait, what? Right? It's learned behavior, right? Got it from school, right? Oh, hey, Croatia, thanks for being here, friend. Appreciate you. We're our worldwide community here, people. So somehow I think they're being told that they're trans, right? By somebody, or they see it on the internet, or their friends are trans, right? If me as a parent, I'll tell you this. Hey, Berlin, right on. If my kid came home one day and said, I'm trans, I would push back so hard, it will make your head spin. I would sit that kiddo down and I would say, well, what does that even mean? Hey, Crazy Socks, thank you. My mother is a Facebook mother. She only posts that boosted her likes of being an amazing mother. Even though we were raised by our single father, people are wild. Oh, wow, that's actually creepy. That's actually creepy. So I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think a lot of these people, they get like some kind of boost. They get some kind of ego boost, right? They get like a, love to tell you about what it's like here in the UK. I know what it's like, that girlish. Believe me, I know. It's as bad as it is here. But I think you guys stopped doing hormone blockers. So I believe that these kids are being indoctrinated. I 100% believe these kids are being indoctrinated by adults, okay? By adults. And it's a phase and it's a trend, and some people call it trans what this. Totally, Judy. Transhousing by proxy. I mean, on some level, I think it is. My youngest, whom you know I went through a lot with, yes, and got it from the internet. Breaking through the heavy brain. See, Courtney did have that. That's how Courtney and I met. That's right. That's right. But you got them out of it, which says a lot to me about you as a parent, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say here is this. Am I making a judgment on a parent? I kind of am. I am. I really am making a judgment, but I feel like I have to make a judgment. I don't like to make judgments about people. I don't think it's cool because I don't like people to judge me. But at this point, with all these kids being trans and the insanity of it all, and then the detransitioners, I have to judge the parents. I really feel like I have to. Hey, Aylin, thank you, friend. I feel like I have to judge them. Aylin, thank you, friend. I'm so sick of parents exploiting their kids for money. Something has to be done. Yes. No, it's true. We have to stop it. But how do we stop it? So here's my question to all of you. What I said earlier, anybody can have kids. Anybody's allowed to raise their children, whatever religion, however they want to do it. How do we, as people who know this is basically on some level an indoctrination, how are we going to stop parents from doing this to their kids without being judged or being saying that we're not allowing parents to raise their kids however they need to raise their kids, right? Does that make sense? So do we have the right to judge a parent for raising their kid as trans? I mean, I guess if you put it out on the internet and you expose your kid as trans, then I think we do have the right to have our own opinion about it. But if you kept it in a private space, right, I think we do need social workers, right? I think it needs to be we have to get to the medical, and this is going to be one of the hardest parts, Sue, is getting to the medical establishment because it's a money-making space. But somehow, and puberty is 100% a right. And so, but somehow we have to get it through to the parents that this is not okay and that your child is not trans without us feeling like we're superior, because that's what they're going to say. How do we know? Or, I mean, if anyone knows, don't you think it would be me? And don't you think it's like kind of interesting that they don't want somebody like me saying this isn't real when I've done this for 30 something years and I'm very secure and I'm very much believe adults who have gender dysphoria need to transition. But don't you think it's interesting that my voice gets cut out of the conversation, or that I'm called transphobic, or that I'm not allowed to have an opinion about trans kids? That's where I'm telling you that I can prove to you that there's something else going on, right? Jim's girl, parents have lost it. I'm bothered that suburban moms seem to be, they are the worst. They are the worst. 100%. There's no doubt. So I want to bring some stuff up here. Okay, guys, let's do this. I found some, I really wanted to talk about trans kids today and my commitment to trans kids. Hey, Tennessee, thanks for coming. You're never late. Never late. Thanks for being here. It's become political. 100%. It's become, we have to require GD. That's 100% true. But even if you're, so that's a great point, Courtney. But even if your child has gender dysphoria, I still don't believe that child should medically ever be medicalized until they are 8. If we're going to make adults 18 and over, okay, then my personal opinion is no child under the age of 18 should ever be medicalized. Ever. They cannot, if the kid can't make choices, what we always say, drinking, drugs, sex, piercings, tattoos. If a kid can't make those choices, how the hell can they make a choice that's actually irreversible, right? So I've had my tongue pierced. I've had my nose pierced. I've had my ears pierced. You would never know. You would never know because I could take it out and move on in the world. And no one ever knows that I had all those piercings, right? So those weren't irreversible. Those were reversible. So if you're going to let a kid take hormones or cut their breasts off, why aren't you letting kids get piercings or even drink alcohol? Why? So it doesn't make sense, right? I don't care if you get diagnosed with GD. You still should not be taking medication. Nope. So in my opinion, this is all my opinion, right? It's just my opinion and why I feel very committed to it. So let's watch this. I think this was one of the things, a couple of things I found. I found this to be, I'll grab you first, Jen. Hey, Jen. Well, Buck, our state government freely judge. Governments freely judge parents. They don't want to transition their kid and take the child away from said parent because they are advocating not for the kid to transition. Oh, yes. It's just, you know what? Have a trans kid. That's interesting. Have a trans kid, but you can't transition them. I mean, go ahead and have a trans kid, whatever that means, right? But you can't go do all that medicalization to your kid. It's disgusting. So let me bring this one up here. I'll start with this.
Reaction when people hear that we have 2 trans kids is pretty shock and awe.
Before I had transitioned, I had like a piece missing to me and it just didn't feel right. And I was nervous to tell my parents.
Being trans would mean you were born the gender that you don't feel like in your heart.
It just now, a month ago, started hormone blockers to prevent his menstruation cycle and breast development, which would cause a lot of havoc mentally.
She actually said she's giving her daughter puberty blockers, and she said to stop his menstrual cycle. Did you hear that? The mom said to stop his menstrual cycle.
Can you show me what the blocker looks like that's implanted? First, show me in your arm. Where is it?
It's right there.
Right there? Can I feel it?
Mm-hmm.
Do people ever wonder if you're too young to know if you're trans?
Yeah, and like, are they too young to know that they're cis.
Olivia
Oh my God, the kid knows all the language, you guys. That little kid said, are they too young to know they're cis? So he's being indoctrinated into even the language. Oh, I want to puke.
said she was transgender from the age of 4.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Show's over. The world is gone. 4. Come on, everybody here. Come on. Really? 4. No, a 4-year-old doesn't even know. I have 4-year-olds and 2-year-olds over at my house from my brother-in-law has kids, and those kids are at my house all the time. And I'm telling you right now, those kids don't know anything except cartoons, candy, picking fruit off the tree. I mean, I know I'm laughing, you guys, but you see, this is why I feel committed. I feel so committed to this cause.
Until 5. And
Look at that little baby.
we allowed her to wear whatever she wanted, but she didn't socially transition until she was 5 years old. A lot of people think that it must be a copycat situation where the younger one's just mimicking the older one.
Yeah, don't forget, everybody, this lady has 2, okay? Both of her kids are transgender. What? Come on, seriously? How is that not considered child abuse? How? I just want to know how. Are we just going to let this go like nothing? Like, oh, you got 2 kids and they're just magically both trans, and the one's set at 4. Bleh. They also look very sad. I agree. I see your comments. They all look very sad.
Which makes sense, which is why we also hesitated in terms of jumping into another social transition.
Another social transition. So this woman socially transitioned her children before. Right. The mom needs to get an evaluation. There is no doubt in my mind that how can a mother. So that's a great point. Hey, Scuba Woman. Thank you, friend. Listen, thank you, friend. That's a great point. Don't you think? Let's just say your kids are trans, right? And then all of a sudden you have 2 kids. Crazy sucks. My 4-year-old nephew still can't sleep without his stuffy at night. He's a child. Where she got I don't know. I'm speechless. I really am, because it doesn't make sense to me.
And this is where we are.
I reacted to Olivia transitioning like most older siblings would, which is kind of like, but really? Even though I'm trans. I got a little defensive because I thought it was my thing. But now, I transition, I had like a piece.
Sorry, you guys. Sorry.
I reacted.
Did you listen to this? Just let me calm down a little bit. Listen to this. This is very profound what this little kid says.
To Olivia transitioning like most older siblings would, which is kind of like, but really? Even though I'm trans. I got a little defensive because I thought it was my thing. But now I saw and still see that Olivia is a girl and that she always will be.
He got defensive. So the brother to the sister, by the way, it's switched. The brother is really the sister and the sister is really the brother, okay? Got mad because the little one was now transitioning, and then the big one wanted it all for themselves. So now there's a sibling rivalry about who's trans and who's not. Get that into your head. Think about that for a minute. Right. So it's attention grabbing. That's exactly right. So now they're pitting the kids against each other, right? Hey, practical medium. I couldn't talk until right. Exactly. Wait, you guys. I mean, I know you're all seeing what I'm seeing. I know you are. I know it. Okay, enough of that one. Wow, you guys. Wow. Just so I'm going to prove to you right here today. Okay. I'm not just saying this because I think I know better. That has nothing to do with it. If I actually thought kids would benefit from moving forward in these transitions, then I would be all for it. But they will not, number one. Number two, you can literally see the indoctrination from the parents, okay? I found so many of these on TikTok. secondly, if your child had a mental disorder like transgender, okay, wouldn't you sort of keep that to yourself? And why are you rubbing it all over the internet? Crazy Socks to add, Stuffy, he sleeps with it, is My Little Pony. I just know in the wrong hands, they would trans him. Totally. They would 100% trans him. It's the new thing to do to your kid. It is. I'm a tomboy. I prefer jeans to a dress. I'm 100% woman. If a little boy wants to explore wearing dresses, then let them explore. But that's the whole point of all of this. How can we actually do this? You're sexy. I don't know how that one came up, but thank you. but anyway, I just want to say, I know you're all seeing what I'm seeing. We cannot let this continue to happen. And why I attacked the ACLU. And I was like, you are not going to do this. And you are not going to be out here pushing this when people are not being told the truth. You are lying. So now I have a second one for you guys. Watch this one. Watch this one.
Let their children choose their gender. And for their oldest child, Hazel, that's neither male nor female.
Please tell us how and why you decided to come out as non-binary.
Because the pronouns she and he did not fit. Non-binary was what I turned to.
How old do you think this child is? Let's just take a guess. I would say this kid right here, probably 10. Okay. So they're coming out as non-binary. The parents are letting them choose their gender. Okay. I also believe that that's on some level child abuse. I do. I really do. You can't. Yeah. 8, 9, 10. Right on. Yep. Totally. So I personally also believe because just choose your gender. It's that's not reality based. You can't just choose your gender. It's not a deck of cards or you know what I mean? Like Mr. Potato Head. You're just going to choose what gender you are.
I do choose to act and look more feminine. Can I go down now?
And 2.5-year-old Sparrow.
Oh yeah, Lizzie girl. Lizzie girl makes a great point. How much you want to bet the cue? Oh no, they're totally reading cue cards. They're being completely told how to speak. 100%. They are. There's no doubt in my mind. If a kid is going through a phase, let them. And is it even I guess it's a phase. I guess, but I don't. It's just a thing now.
Sparrow has yet to make a choice about their gender.
Sparrow, do you want a banana?
A choice about their gender. This language is so insane. Let your kid make their choice about their gender is.
They're anti-gender, but we're using they, them pronouns.
Okay, there it is right there. The parents. Here comes the parents, kids.
Sure, they have anatomy, we understand it, but that's not indicative of their identity. It's something that Sparrow's going to have to figure out and then tell us before.
Oh, there they are. Sorry. First off, the kid's name is Sparrow. Secondly, here's the family, people. There you go. So now it makes all kinds of sense to me. I mean, I feel so sad for these kids. How come nobody's calling CPS on them? Look at them. I mean, it's a comedy. It's a comedy, but the kids are being really forced into this, picking their own. What did she call them? They're anti-Sparrow, Raven, and totally and Bluebird. Oh my God, you guys. This can't be real, but it is. My pronouns are beautiful and fabulous. I mean, okay, I gotta stop. Let's get through this.
Particularly because it's, something that our parents did and they got it wrong.
But giving Sparrow the choice has proved controversial.
Online, there's a lot of angry people. I have literally received death threats.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. You shouldn't be getting death threats. That's disgusting and gross. I get them too. So join the club. But at the same time, I mean, I can understand the hate comments, just so you know. But death threats aren't cool.
The worst is people who threaten my children.
Yeah.
But I'm
Okay, this is a great. I want to bring this up because this is really great. So I get what you're saying here. Look, I raise my children in a non-binary type of way when it comes to toys and things. Excellent. We are not exclusive to your gender. Exactly. It's not that if you don't like little. No. Totally get that. That's extremely healthy. 100% healthy, and that's what I'm trying to say here. Right. So on some level, you guys, on some level, these people right here think they're going against the grain, right? Right. But at the same time, what they're doing is they're literally putting their kids back into a box again. Right. So they think they're being all like hip and cool and like, we don't have a box. Well, you literally put your kid in a box, lady and man, Mr. People, whatever you are, lady, ma'am, Mr. I don't even know anymore. I'm so confused by all of you because I think you're confused. CPS would most likely be called on this family if they didn't allow the kid to. This is the problem. You make a great point there. This is literally the problem.
That is absolutely horrifying. I feel for your kids. They should never be put through something like that. What you're thinking is so effed up. It's actually scary.
What's so scary about
crazy
oh my god, these people.
Karma.
What's so scary about those comments? You want to read some of my comments? Oh my god. I think last couple of ones ago I read a hate mail that was pretty whacked out. Who cares that people say that to you? Who cares? Like grow a pair, lady, man, sorry, I'm gonna get in trouble for that one. But seriously, grow a pair. Like, how dare you put your child on the internet, right? Pep, I love tuning into your channel. It seems to actually, well, I mean, come on. We have to laugh at it because if we don't, we're all going to sit here and cry about it.
Grow up to detest you. A lot of people, they say, how will your children know what a boy or a girl are if you don't teach them?
Yeah. Or how will they know how to act?
There's a lot of assumption that we're raising them without a gender and we're not giving them any information as to what gender is, when that's just not the case.
Oh, really?
It's funny because one of the main complaints that people say is children are too young to know their gender. That's why they have to be told what their gender is.
That's not true.
And we're like,
kids know what they're a boy and a girl. Kids know that, the difference between that. Are you insane? No, you're the one mixing them up. It's not Burger King. That's right. Biological sex is not Burger King. I mean, wow. Also, you know, when people do that thing where they gaslight you and make you seem like you're the bad one.
Well, I think we agree on the source information. We agree children don't know yet, but how we respond to that fact is very, very.
Yeah, but they actually are lying because what they're doing is they are telling their children that they're nothing. That they're literally nothing, that they're non-binary, right? So now when these little children, teeny little kids go to school and everyone is a boy and a girl at school, but they're like Sparrow, the non-binary, anti-gender, trans something, what do you think is going to happen to that kid in school? What do you think is going to happen? Bully behavior is going to happen. There is no doubt about it. Those kids are going to be bullied. That's right. It's a social experiment. And these kids are going to be bullied and they're going, that's why naming your kid something like Sparrow or Bluebird or like, you know, cup or saucer or blanket or perfume or, you know, naming your kid some whacked out name because you think it's cool as a parent, you are doing your child a disservice because now that kid has to go to school with the name blanket, right? And then everyone's going to tease the kid. We all know it. We were all in school. We were all kids. We know how kids are mean to each other. And when you make a kid non-binary at 9 years old and then send them off to school and they don't understand what toilet to use because they're non-binary and then there's no non-binary toilet and there never will be, then you've just totally messed with your kid. And good luck figuring that out, how you're going to get rid of that mess.
Oh, the other one anyway, God.
The parents educate their children differently from regular public schools.
Bam.
Hazel schools themselves.
So guess what? They don't go to school. They are homeschooled. Of course they are.
Hazel is very led in what they do. I basically just try to keep up with them.
So typically, how many hours of study a day do the kids do?
Honestly, probably not more than 1 or 2 where we're at a table.
They only have 1 or 2 hours of study. It's sad to see these kids. Yeah, they are. They're being full on set up for failure. There is no doubt in my mind. It's my opinion. You can full on
Doing
disagree.
what looks like typical academics. The rest of the time, it's a lot more natural fun.
I'm like actually in shock,
We
you
don't
guys.
force them to homeschool. We did it because at the time that's what they wanted, and
Of course they do. They don't want to go to school and get bullied. So they're like, mommy, daddy, parent, whatever you are. What do you guys remember Saturday Night Live and those things that had the things and they were called parental units? They're probably calling their parents parental units. They're like, please don't send us to school. We're going to get bullied. We can't handle it. So they're going to isolate their kids, right? Which you and I both know when you, coneheads, when you don't send your kids to school, which is called socialization, guess what happens to your kid? Cuckoo, cuckoo. Seriously, I'm not kidding. Even if you choose to homeschool, I have no issues with homeschool. I actually don't. But there's got to be a place where you're socializing your kids. Because if you don't get your kids socialized, they're going to come out in a really bad space. Really bad space. Remember parental units? So these are parental units.
we're always going to be following the lead on. Before COVID-19 lockdown, Hazel.
Oh, VJ, please send me that. Where are you? Where are you? I saw a workbook for trans kids. If you remember where you got that, send the link to me, please. I really need to have that. I really need to have that. Seriously, I'm not kidding. So let me just, enough of them because they're really putrid. I have a couple more here. I knew we weren't going to be able to get to all of them, but there's a couple more that I wanted here. I'll just bring this one up next because it's actually just so gross. Wait. Oh, no, this one. I'm going to bring this one.
He doesn't understand why there's suddenly so many trans kids. What makes you say that? What have you heard about trans kids? Yeah, I understand it can be a lot to hear so much about something that seems new. When I first started hearing more about trans people, I was a little confused too. But I got curious and realized there aren't suddenly more trans kids. It's just more accepted now. So people are feeling more comfortable publicly being themselves.
That's not,
even though neither.
That's not true. So this lady is literally giving people false information about trans kids. And yeah, Lisa, I saw it. That's what I'm saying. I have no issues with homeschooling at all, but you also have to socialize your kid. I know a lot of people who homeschool and the kids are actually really smart. That being said, I also believe you need to socialize your kid. You can't just keep them in a space with the parents all day long, just indoctrinating them to this thought process. So I guess it might have come out wrong. I 100% believe homeschooling can work on many levels, but I don't believe they are homeschooling their children for that reason. I think they're doing it because the kids were like, please don't send us to school. We're getting bullied. So this lady right here is also a wingnut, and she thinks she's going to school us on what it means, why trans. So the question was, why are there so many more trans kids today than there wasn't like 10 years ago? And this lady's answer to that was, it's just because they weren't seen. That's a bullshit answer. That's a bullshit wrong answer. That's not why. Because if trans kids were always existing, even when I was a kid, we would have seen a million times more. So that is an actual bullshit answer, and it's not true. That is not why. It's because you as a parent are indoctrinating your child into that thought process.
When your child comes out to you as gay or trans, don't tell them that you'll love them no matter what. Of course you do. But that's what you say to a child when they've done something wrong that didn't meet your expectations. It's what you say when they've been caught stealing a candy bar or cheating on a test.
What? Now they're equating your kid coming out as trans as like something like just, no, if your kid comes home and says to you, I'm trans, you better be alarmed. You better be, I'm telling every single one of you out there, if your child comes home and says, I'm trans, you better listen to what this person said. Listen again. Listen.
When your child comes out to you as gay or trans.
First off, do not put gay and trans in the same sentence, person. Do not do that because they're two separate things. One is sexuality. The other one is a disorder. Okay. They are two different things. So they already see what they're doing now. They're gaslighting us. They're gaslighting us. They're not the same thing. They're not the same thing.
Don't tell them that you'll love them no matter what. Of course you do. But that's what you say to a child when they've done something wrong that didn't meet your expectations. It's what you say when they've been caught stealing a candy bar.
No, you know what you say to them? Okay, kiddo, we're going to get some therapy. So how about if I call Miss Smith, the therapist, right now, and we get you an appointment next week so we can find out if this trans thing that you say you are is an actual real thing. That's what you say to your kid. You don't say, oh, no, it's just normal. And it's not normal for your kid to come home and say, I'm trans. It's literally not normal, okay? And stop saying gay and trans in the same sentence. Stealing a candy bar.
Or cheating on a test. Instead, you want to say something that conveys there's nothing wrong with being LGBTQ.
No one said it was wrong. What are you talking about?
Instead, tell them, everything I learn about you makes me love you more. I love finding out who you are, and I'm so excited for the rest of the world to do the same. Also, do not tell your children that you are afraid that life will be harder for them.
What are you? First off, you see what they want you to do? They want you to love bomb them. You know what love bombing is, right? So when you do something, you get a lot of attention. So when you say you're trans, you get love bombed, right? So when you get love bombed and you come out as trans, what happens is now you feel so good because your parents are giving you more attention. It literally goes back to this one, literally to this one right here. This one. This mom
blockers to prevent his menstruation cycle.
This mom is love bombing their kids because they're trans. So the kids want to be trans. It's literally what this other person is saying. Love bomb your kids. I cringe to think how many my life would have turned out if I was coming. I know, you guys. I know. I have a new video coming out later on today. So let me finish getting that done. I have so much to talk to you guys about. I really appreciate you all so much. We're going to end here today. And I want to say this, please, YouTube, stop demonetizing me. I am a transsexual elder of this community, and I have a different opinion about what's going on, what's happening, that this whole trans narrative is out of control. And I'm not sure why you keep demonetizing me. And then you don't tell me why. So they don't even tell me why. They just demonetize me. And they say a human looked at this and still decided that it can't be monetized. But why? There has to be a reason why. You can't just say, we're not going to let you in the house. I want to know why you're not going to let me in the house, or why I can't go to that restaurant, or why I can't do certain things. Like, you've got to tell me why. I'm not a guy who just takes no for an answer. I'm not that person. And so I want to remind you that as long as these videos are getting demonetized, I'm not going anywhere, even if they are monetized, or I'm not leaving this platform. I'm not going to shut up. I'm going to continue to say what needs to be said because I have a commitment to the cause, and the commitment to the cause means the children. Okay, I care about the future of these children who are being told they're trans, and these wingnuts who are pushing them into this space. So because of that, because I sit here with you today, because you also support this channel, and you also support and you like and subscribe and get it to people who need to see it, questioning parents who are like, oh, what does that mean? My kid is trans. Check out Buck. He'll tell you. I'm not shy to tell you your kid isn't trans. So I have a lot of resources. I am more than happy to help any parent struggling with this situation. I have a lot of good people around me. You people are really the reason why this channel continues to grow. So the longer you and I keep our, we stick to our guns and we have our commitment to this cause, which is the children. Bottom line, you and I together the outcome of this will be stronger and better than you can ever even imagine. Okay. And we will look back on this. So thanks to the moderators. Thank you guys so much, Lisa and Ann. You guys are amazing. If you notice, we're not getting that many trolls. You guys must be keeping it under control. So I love you guys so much. Thank you all, everybody. Thank you. I do. If anyone should demonetize, should be, yeah, well, there you go. That's not going to happen because they're spewing the stuff that everyone. And thanks for being a new member. And thanks everybody so much for the support of the channel. It means the world to me. I'll see you guys on the next one next Wednesday. I have a couple new videos coming out. Thanks for supporting those. And let's just keep our eyes focused on these poor kids. Okay. They need us. We have to be the adults in the room. Have a great rest of your day.